greatest lines you can ever say to anybody. It's game day. That's right. It's game day. Love it, man. Eagles and Falcons tonight. And boy, do we have an interesting game tonight at Lincoln Financial, to say the least. What a great weekend. Hopefully everybody had one. Saturday was college football. Sunday, we learned a lot. By the way, Big Sil's hooking you up big time by telling you the Saints were going to roll over the Dallas Cowboys, and they did. That thing wasn't close. Unbelievable. The Saints have had, 14 possessions? 14 possessions, and they've scored on every one of them. But as tradition is here on the National Football Show with Big Sills, we always start the program off with Big Sills and the 4 hours powered by our friends at BetUS. Make sure you check out the website. A lot of great stuff going on with our friends at BetUS. We so appreciate you guys coming aboard with us. Nothing like game day. Nick Foles night tonight. He's in the building. Will they run Philly? In honor of Big Nick, will they run Philly tonight? That's a side prop bet that we'll throw out there to you. Yes or no, do they run Philly? It'd be pretty awesome if they're able to run Philly. Oh, no. We are going to get Mark Holmes on Wednesday, and we're hoping to get Philly 500 on also. I'd love to see them run that play tonight. I really would. Jason Kelsey also in the building too. ESPN's Monday Night Football. What an absolutely great atmosphere. The true first home game of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. Got the NFL, man, each and every single week. Week 1, Cowboys are back. And you're like, no. How about the Ravens 0-2? Rams 0-2. How about the way Kyler Murray looked? 325 total yards against the Rams. He was sensational in that game. Marvin Harrison Jr., 2 touchdowns, but obviously the story tonight. Craig Carton will join us at 5:30 Eastern. And we will talk to Craig, FS1 star, former WFAN and former WIP radio star. Craig Carton will join us. Xander will join us, co-host of Birds 365. Don't forget also tonight, pre- and post-game show right here on JAKIB Sports. Big Sil's part of that. Very proud to be part of that. And we welcome you to be part of that as well. We'll get into the game tonight. We learned a lot. Obviously, the story of the weekend, if you're a Birds fan, that applies kind of to the Falcons as well, but to the Eagles here. A.J. Brown out, nursing a hamstring injury. We're going to get to the breakdown of the game and my prediction, and I'll tell you where I'm at with the game tonight. How much of a factor, before we get going here, how much of a factor do you think A.J. Brown being out plays into tonight's game? How much of a factor? How much of a factor do you think this plays tonight? Every time A.J. Brown has not been on the field, Jalen Hurts has looked mediocre to 2021-ish. Okay? He's looked mediocre-ish. By the way, Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers got away with it in week 1 against a very overhyped New York Jets team. They didn't get away with it against the Minnesota Vikings. And Sam Darnold, I get it's on the road, short work week, but McCaffrey not being on the field, caught him. They got beat. How much of a factor do you think this is tonight, A.J. Brown not being on the field? Jacob says 30%. Jacob, you say 30%. Flexen says big factor. Hey, Jacob, if you're saying that that's a Crowley saying major, close game then, correct, tonight? Sirianni spoke over the weekend. We'll talk about week 2 of the NFL here in a minute. So it's a close game. How about this? It's a closer game. Get this. So here, let me show you delusional here. And NS, says that it's a slight thing. Like your quarterback is great. He's not. He's very good. He's not great. He's very good. He's very good. And I heard Xander say something this morning. I was flipping on and off the Birds 365, and he goes, hey, I feel pretty good about Devontae Smith being in the one role with the Eagles. Well, how has the team performed with him being in the one role when AJ's not on the field? How's the team performed? How's the offense performed with him as the one? I think it's been mediocre. Calm down. Dick Train. They've looked average with Devontae as the number one guy. Okay? They've looked average. They've looked average. Right? It's going to have to be other guys stepping up tonight for sure. I thought we were trying to get the workload off of Barkley after week 1. He may have to carry a significant role tonight in tonight's game. We still have things to prove with Hurts and the defense. Very true. There you go right here. I buy this 1,000%, AT. Guys, please hit the like button. Thank you very much. Don't forget, pre- and post-game show tonight. Big Sills will be part of that. We appreciate it. Pick the Falcons already so we can make fun of you tomorrow. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, dude. We'll get to it. We'll get to where we're going. That's right, Kyle. Kyle, no question. By the way, guess who also is going to be interesting to keep an eye on? Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore. Okay. Kellen Moore. Hey, I agree with this right here. Big Sills, do you think Howie Roseman knew AJ was having hamstring issues, thus traded for Dotson? No, I thought he had the foresight with this move. No, I don't think he knew that AJ had hamstring issues in camp. I think he had the foresight to know. Because remember what I kept telling Xander? Xander completely kept disagreeing with me. You don't have a very good wide receiver room. Outside of your two dudes, the rest of them are guys. So what did he do? He knew a significant injury. He was going to have somebody there that could possibly not say cover for one of those guys getting hurt, Devontae or AJ, but he was going to have somebody that potentially could get out there on the numbers and play. Okay? And that's why he made the move for Dotson. Now here, let's do this. Dotson, according to the Washington Commanders, has been a bust. Now, I want to see him in this offense because I'm going to make a comparison to you. Dotson playing with those quarterbacks that they had in Washington, how can you really get a great assessment on a wide receiver? He's not Justin Jefferson, Dotson. Justin Jefferson, it doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball. He's a spectacular talent. Can you believe this? Not to put the hatchet in how he's back here, but maybe the second greatest wide receiver in the last 50 years to Randy Moss just might be Justin Jefferson and how he missed on him. Okay? That guy is sensational. The numbers he's putting up, only Randy Moss has put up better numbers in the first 5 years of his career. It's insane how good he is. Insane. By the way, I'd be curious to know what the record of Jalen Hurts is without A.J. Brown in a football game. Let's take a look at that for a second. First year they were 9-8. Is that right? With A.J.? Last year they, let's see, without Brown, missed the playoff game. So am I right when I say that Jalen Hurts is 9-9 without A.J. Brown? 58% completion percentage. Is that right? Just saying. I mean, 9-8. I said without A.J. Brown. Last year, he was 0-1. And 2000. So what's his record without A.J. Brown? 0-1? That's not awful. Lost to the Buccaneers, right? That's not awful. It's insignificant. However, his passing numbers look a little bit different. So let's get into tonight's game. Let me hear some of your scores tonight. I think it's one game. I'm with you. It's not a big deal. Okay, I don't think one game. That's not going to determine anything. That's not a trend. You've got to get a couple games before you call it a trend. But once again, and for the record, I'm going to make a point to you about Dotson. Does anybody know how many yards DeAndre Swift has right now in Chicago? Rather have AJ out than Lane. Good test for Hurts. It is. Does anybody know how many rushing yards in 2 games DeAndre Swift has in Chicago? Just off the top of your head. Okay? Just off the top of your head, and I'm going to make a point. Rhonda. Rhonda, you say it's 43. I thought it was 48, but okay. You got a shitty quarterback up there right now. Caleb Williams isn't helping him at all. So is Dotson better having a better quarterback with Hurts? We'll find out tonight. Okay? Could Dotson's game elevate because he's got a better dude? Yeah, I think so. Why not? Better guy? Better thrower of the football? They've had nothing in Washington, so I don't know. I mean, I get Terry McLaurin's a great football player. I get it. Okay? What's the score tonight for some of you on what you think happens tonight without A.J. Brown? First home game of the year. Hurts coming off a very mediocre to below average game. Barkley was sensational. The receivers were great in the ball game. One of those guys is out. Goddard was somewhat of a factor. The wide receiver 3 position was 0 factor. The running game outside of one big run was okay. And the defense, well, outside of Zach Bond and Quinyon Mitchell. And really, there were a lot of no-shows, including your 2 defensive tackles. 34-20. 34-17. 27-24 says Joseph. Okay. Birds drop a 50 burger. Not likely. You can't stop anybody. You can't stop it. Look at this guy. Look at this. Never happened. Never happened. Atlanta's a good defense. It forced the Steelers into 5 field goals. Wasn't like the Steelers were doing anything. Not that Justin Fields is a good quarterback. You know who Justin Fields is? He's a black Tim Tebow. Okay? He's the same as Tim Tebow. That's what he is. Okay? Justin Fields stinks. I'll tell you this, that guy in Houston is spectacular. Hey, I like 34-24. I do. Hey, James, that was a pretty good ball game. We'll talk more about Jaden Daniels. I thought he played really well in the game to get his first victory. MG says that Fields is better than Tebow. Probably. Yep, he is. Okay. Yep, probably so. Fields is better. Fields is better. Pickens is pretty good. He is. Let's get into it now. Okay, I'll give you my takeaway now. Please do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Nick Foles night tonight at Lincoln Financial. Pretty cool stuff. I posted a picture of Jalen Hurts meeting Nick Foles for the first time. I thought that was really great. the history of the franchise. You got one of the greatest moments and one of the greatest players in the history of the franchise because he delivered the most significant moment for you. Hurts is top 5 quarterback. Look at that guy. Absolutely not. I can name you 10, 15 quarterbacks I'd take over, homie. Not happening. Eagles were 6-point favorites. That number's come down to 5 now. A.J. Brown being out is a massive loss to the team. Real first home game, as we said. Kelsey's in the building. Here's some of the keys of tonight's game. Okay? What are the Eagles going to do? Xander, do you have an update from John? Maybe we'll get more of that at 3:30 on what they're going to do with Quinyon Mitchell. Are they starting him on the numbers or are they putting him in the slot? I think this is significant. Drake London doesn't scare me. Kyle Pitts and Bijan scare me. They're going to attack the middle of the field in the seam. Okay? The numbers don't scare me with Drake London. Do I want my best player to make significant plays against the best players? This is about matchup. Avonte Maddox on Kyle Pitts and Bijan is a mismatch for the Eagles. Do I put him there? Now, it depends on the health of Isaiah Rodgers. I think that's a big call tonight on what they're going to do in that slot because they're going to attack the middle of the field tonight. They're not going to attack the numbers. Your 2 best players on defense in the secondary at your corner positions. Well, they're not going to attack that. They're going to go across the middle because their 2 best players are middle of the field players. Robinson in screens, running the ball, and Pitts across the middle and attacking the hash marks. Okay? That's a pretty good tandem of dudes. Do you put him in the slot? I'm talking Quinyon. That's a decision that we'll probably not know until we see those guys get out there when they get out there for the first time on defense. Saints won because of Kubiak, Niners OC last season. Hey, I'll tell you something, man. Kubiak did a great job of play designing. There is no question about that. I mean, that thing looks – hey, by the way, you want to hear something crazy? They put up 41 against the Cowboys and 47 against Carolina. That Saints team was the team that I thought we'd see a year ago. Well, we're seeing it now. Remember what I told you about the Eagles being better next year? That's kind of where I'm at now also offensively here with the Eagles. So we'll see. Tonight, for me, I would put Quinyon Mitchell on Bijan and have him have the ability to cover Pitts. Those 2 guys are the guys that are going to move the sticks for Atlanta. Drake London, in my opinion, I think you can get away with it with Isaiah Rodgers. Now, that depends on his health. I think you could probably get away with it with Keely Ringo. Keely Ringo versus Drake London, I'm okay with that matchup. I'm okay with it. Zach Bond. You think this homie's going to do it again? You think he goes out there and he plays the same way he did against Green Bay? I'll tell you something about a guy. I'm trying to figure, have I ever seen a guy who was held back in a franchise, you put him out there, and all of a sudden he turns out to be something spectacular? The only guy I can think about is Michael Bennett, the defensive end that the Bucs and Saints had. He gets up to Seattle, and he turns into a pass-rushing demon. And for a decade, he was a monster up in Seattle with Pete Carroll. That's pretty much one of the only guys I can think off the top of my head where you were just like, holy shit, that guy is just spectacular. Okay? Bryce Young, bench. Carolina is where quarterbacks die. Look at Baker, Darnold. Worst owner in the worst owner in profession. Hey, there's no doubt, Trey. Thanks for the super chat, too, by the way. Okay, Eagles 28-24. I like your score. Hey, Trey, David Tepper's the worst owner in pro football. There's no denying that. That's the worst roster. Them and the Giants are battling out for the worst roster in pro football. RC3, Zach Bond, 8 tackles and a pick. He's got this guy playing like he's Ray Lewis. Okay? Cosmo. Sills, it's crazy that you were right about the Cowboys. I said the Saints would win by 10. I didn't realize they'd kill them. Who steps up tonight? Barkley or Goddard? Barkley or Goddard tonight? When are you going to get the $15 million tight end going? Tonight's a perfect game. It's a perfect game. Linebackers, I still question. We had David Archer on with us on Friday. He said they played well against the Steelers. Okay. Can they do that consecutively? I think that's a weakness that they have. When's Goddard going to get going here, man? Because, again, we have to worry about the workload for Barkley as you move forward here. Goddard's got to get going, man. This is a, hey, by the way, I see somebody put Britton Covey. Britton Covey? Fuck that. I'm paying Goddard $15 million. Let's go. I'm paying you $15 million. Let's get the money guys going. Let's get the money guys going. Okay? Sills, the starting LB is injured. Even more so now on what Brian's saying here. Starting linebackers injured for Atlanta. Get Goddard and Barkley going. Run that ball too, man. Run the ball tonight. Atlanta's got a good Atlanta's defense is better than Green Bay's. Their front four and their back four are better than Green Bay's. No, you're going against a better team on defense. Wasn't like the Steelers did anything to them defensively. They did nothing. They didn't do anything against them. Actually, I thought the Atlanta defense played great. Matthew Judon showed up. Their two safeties are the best tandem in the NFC. I mean, you got Bates and Simmons. There's no better safeties in football, let alone the NFC, than what Atlanta has. Okay? I mean, Atlanta's got the two best safeties. And they got a pretty good corner in A.J. Terrell. Not horrible. That's a good secondary. Hurts is going to have, I'll say this to you. If they get pressure on Jalen tonight, they got the secondary to make plays. And without AJ in the game, you move the sticks closer. I'll get to my result here. By the way, how much of a role does Cooper DeJean? Get this. Hear this. How many people believe that Matthew Judon, Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons, A.J. Terrell, that Atlanta has a better defense than what Green Bay does? This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay? And Matthew Judon showed up with a sack against the Steelers. I agree with this. I agree. But you're not going against a premier passer tonight if you're Atlanta. Hurts is not a premier passer. He's never been. He never put up premier numbers. He's not going to be a premier passer ever. This is who he is. I know some of you think he's a 4,700. I'd like to see you get 4K first. Why would they fire Frank and bench Bryce? That's because the owner, Frank wanted C.J. Stroud. The owner wanted Bryce Young. That's why. That's why. What's Cooper DeJean's role tonight? How much of a role do you think he plays tonight for the Eagles on defense? Does he play a role tonight? Do they get him out there? Do they put him out there? Do they drop him in the slot? Does he have a role tonight? They got to get him up to speed. So I think it's safety or nickel. I do too, Kyle. Kyle, I think it's safety or nickel too. I agree. Okay, I do. By the way, if you learn one thing about the NFL in the second week versus week one, nothing's a given, especially when you're losing a star player like A.J. Brown. I'm glad you have some confidence in it. You should. You should have confidence. You're the better team heading into this game. You're the better team. There's no excuses. For you even, listen, you can't tell me if you have all that. Here, I'll get to this here in a minute. I want to get to the super chat. Say, I'll go to the front. Thank you. Okay, let's say the Falcons defense is what you're saying they are, and Hurts cars them up. Then what would you say about Hurts? He did his job. Like Mahomes, like the great quarterbacks in the league. What do you want, a cookie? Well, I'm not sure what you're looking for. What do you want, a medal? For what? Doing your job? That's what I'll say. Praise is when you win Super Bowls and division titles and home field advantage. Look at Lamar Jackson. Ain't no praise there. He's a defending MVP of this league. Right now, that football team has to get their groove back, the Ravens. You're in the AFC. You can't go down 0-2 in that division. One year, you're the MVP of the league. The next year, you're 0-2. Hey, by the way, is that a flip-flop? They're 0-2. What do you want me to say about the Ravens? They got beat by the Raiders. What's a flip-flop? Is that a flip-flop, or did that team flip-flop? The losses on defense have been more significant than what people think. Devontae Smith will see a lot of double teams. Jalen will struggle again tonight, so be prepared because they're going to stack the box on Barkley. In my opinion, he is 0-2. Hey, in my opinion, Barkley's the key for Atlanta. They got to stop Barkley. I don't care about Devontae. Devontae doesn't really impact the wins when AJ's not on the field. I don't remember a game where I watched him carry a football team across the finish line when AJ wasn't on the field. Even in that, how many yards did he have in that Buck game? In the playoff game? Does anyone remember? Was it 100 yards? How many yards did Devontae Smith have in that Buccaneer game? Did he have a good game in that game? How many yards did Devontae have without AJ in that game? That playoff game against the Bucks. He had 148 yards? I don't remember that. That can't be true. He didn't have 148 yards in that Buck game, because if he did, that's the most significant 148 yards receiving I've ever seen. 148 and 6 catches, and I got blown out. I mean, when A.J. Brown gets 158, you know what that team looks like. He had a lot, but to your point, it didn't put them over the top and win the game. Yeah, it had no impact on winning the game. Okay, it had zero impact. 8 catches, 148. So, and he scored 9 points and got destroyed. So tonight, again, what will his impact? To me, it's Barkley and Goddard. It's Barkley and Goddard tonight. And then, get this. Hey, by the way, that 148, did he have a touchdown catch too? Yeah, those were empty calorie yards that he had in that Buck game. Didn't matter. He had 150 yards in a game. Did he have a touchdown in that game? You got to get Barkley and Goddard going tonight, in my opinion. Barkley and Goddard. He's playing a pretty good defense tonight. Like I said, this Atlanta team. He didn't have a touchdown in that game. He had 150 yards catching the ball and no TDs. And 7-8 catches in that game. Those are number one numbers, but no impact on wins. Okay. I know the Bucks stopped the run in that game. Do you see what I'm saying? Stop the run, you win the game tonight. Let Devontae have 150 yards. If I'm Raheem Morris, and I talked to Raheem, if I'm Raheem Morris, I'd let Devontae get his yards. Barkley's a guy. You can't let Barkley go down the sideline, and you can't let Barkley go for a C note in that game tonight. Eagles will win comfortably if that goes down. You got to stop him. Barkley is the key tonight for Atlanta to win that game. You can't stop him. Devontae will have 2 touchdowns, and it'll be a pretty comfortable win. Okay? Barkley was the reason you won the Green Bay game. New offense. Hurts passing near elite. Absolutely nothing. Get this. This guy was the lowest rated quarterback in the NFL last week, and he says that Jalen Hurts is elite. New offense. Hurts passing near elite. No, AJ, I think the offense struggles. I'm not sure what you mean, Duel, so I'm going to assume that you're saying that he's going to have to be elite tonight. I would definitely think that Jalen has to play really well tonight. By the way, I'd like to see that same kind of balance that you saw in Green Bay, 30-30, something like that. Hold Atlanta to 60 plays would be great. Here's the thing about Cousins. Get him off his mark. He is a non-mobile guy. But I'll tell you what, if you don't get pressure, SOS Bryce Huff, you don't get pressure, he can throw for big numbers. And they know that. If I'm Kirk Cousins, who am I attacking in the Eagle secondary? Easy. I'm going right after the linebackers. They struggle in coverage. And you got to get that run game going. Who has a bigger game, Bijan or Barkley? That could also be the factor tonight. Bijan's a really good ball player. I told you that on draft day. I had no problem with the Eagles taking him. And it turns out I was right. He's a superstar player. This guy could be a 2K total yards guy every year in the league, barring any kind of catastrophic injuries. He's a good football player. Okay? He's younger. Had a superior year to Barkley a year ago. Had 60 catches. Okay? Had 60 catches. Remember something about Barkley's impact, too. So if you give him the football another 25 times, that'll be 50 carries in 2 games. You may need that because of injury tonight. You're thin at wideout. You are thin. Dotson hey, guess what? Dotson is on a prove-it trade. He's proven nothing. His career in the NFL, he's proven nothing. So when you say, well, Dotson has proven nothing. 16th pick in the draft, tonight's a game for him. Because if he has a great game, do you know what that'll do? His draft stock raises. By the way, I do want to give you a little bit of insight. I know this personally, having talked to some people in Miami. Chris Greer, the general manager of the Miami Dolphins, has reached out to Howie Roseman about the availability potentially of Kenny Pickett. Now, I know they signed a quarterback, Huntley, the former Baltimore guy. I think he was released with Cleveland. That lends me to believe that Howie wants more money, or I should say a higher pick for Kenny Pickett than what the Dolphins were willing to give up because they had contacted. And I think there was someone else, I can't remember. I think they contacted even the Dallas Cowboys on Trey Lance. But they wanted a crazy pick for him, and Chris Greer said no. And then they settled on Huntley. So Howie got a call on Kenny Pickett. But I don't know what the draft pick was. I have no idea what the round was that Howie wanted for him. I'm assuming it's a third. Okay? I'm assuming it would have been something like that, a third. Plus, you give up a guy like that, you're going to that's your security blanket. That's your safety belt in case something happens to Hurts. You're going to want a high premium pick. You're going to want a third pick. So that was on the table over the weekend until they signed Huntley. SOS Bryce Huff. SOS. Let's go, dude. You can't move that guy off his spot. It'll be interesting tonight. Hit the like button, guys. Guys are doing great. I appreciate it. Where are we in the like list? I want to make sure we get and have a great like list today. Hey, Dan, what does everyone think of Brady's announcing? I thought Brady was great in his second time around. I thought he had a great game against the Bucs. Much improved. Much improved. 160. Thank you, Thomas. Guys, please hit the like button. Thank you. Way to go, man. You guys are killing it here. So, my prediction for tonight's game. With the 5.5, if you're a betting man, and I don't bet, I would take the Falcons in the 5.5. It was 6 at one time. I would do that. I'd grab the number. But I think the Eagles win this game 26-23 tonight. I think it's close. It's closer than what you want. You're still going through bumps and bruises. And I'm not sold on your defense. Your defense is not good enough. You don't have a Pittsburgh Steelers defense. What makes you think that you're going to do this? Hey, get this. You know what's crazy? Who's your TJ Watt? Who's your Fitzpatrick? Who's your Cam Hayward? Not what I saw against Green Bay. He gave up 163 on the ground. You don't have any of those guys yet. Your defense proved nothing. You gave up 414 yards to a team that didn't even play well. Okay? I mean, you're making it sound like you're going against a bad defense. You're not. You're going against a pretty good one. They held the Steelers to 5 field goals. They didn't do anything against them. 26-23. Eagles win the game. But if I were you, I'd take the 5.5 and the Falcons. This game's going to be pretty interesting because, once again, I don't believe you have anybody on your football team that can cover Bijan Robinson. And to me, the key in the game tonight is stopping Barkley. You got to stop Barkley. He's the key. Devontae, it doesn't matter if he gets his yards. Who cares? Every time he gets his yards, it has no impact on the team winning or not. He's not the impact win guy. The impact win guy's sitting out tonight. When I look at Devontae, I think Devontae Smith is a really great player, but he's got to be on a football team with an elite quarterback. He's not going to carry your team across the finish line like AJ can. He's just not, or CD, somebody like that, those big-time receivers like that. You know, like I said, Allen and Mahomes, those guys don't need those receivers to win ball games. Purdy and Hurts need those guys because when they're not on the field, all their accoutrements, they look average. Every game that Jalen Hurts has not had A.J. Brown in, he's looked mediocre. He looked mediocre in the opener when he had him. Okay? But by the way, I said this, though, on Friday to you. I think you're going to see the offense for Philly. I think you're going to see a much improved offense and communication tonight. But that communication now, because, and one thing I heard Xander and John talking about, Xander, was it you that said this? I completely agree with this one here. Dude, A.J. Brown getting hurt over the weekend versus getting hurt on a Tuesday is a killer. You installed your game plan and passed out the game plan books on Tuesday. I mean, you get your game plan book on Tuesday, and you got an idea offensively what you're going to do or defensively what you're going to do, tendencies of the team, this and that. And then when the guy gets hurt on a Tuesday, you completely have to scrap that, and you get brand new game books probably in a 24-hour period for a brand new offense. Kellen Moore's under the microscope tonight. I want to see how he handles that adjustment. Not just Hurts, again, not just Jalen. How does Kellen handle that adjustment tonight? You're basically 48 hours, you have a new game plan where you practiced all week from Tuesday to Saturday with a game plan with an install of AJ, and then all of a sudden that gets taken out, and you don't have that valuable piece to your game plan, you've got to reevaluate it. Where are you going? That elevates other players in the game plan. Barkley, Devontae, Goddard, Dotson has to be more of an integral part in this thing tonight. Are you going to throw more screens? Are you going to run the ball more? Are you going to be conservative early? Okay? Are you going to see what Atlanta does? Are you going to want to try to go deep on this team? Why would you go deep on a team with the two best safeties in the NFC? I think you methodically try to go down the field with Goddard and run the ball. If you do that, you'll win handily. Okay? You're trying to get out of this game tonight without A.J. Brown, and it'll be a feather in Jalen Hurts. I'll tell you this, what you do too. If you win this game tonight without A.J., and Hurts doesn't struggle, and he looks better than he did against Green Bay, and he's not on the field, that is such a great injection of confidence in that offense, the play caller, the entire group, the locker room. That is what you're looking for tonight. You're not looking to wobble tonight. You're looking to go out and be methodical. You have too many tools, and I'll say it one more time to you. You have too many tools to sit here and go, well, AJ being out's a thing, though. Oh, it is. It is. But you have prepared for this in case something went down. Okay? You've prepared for this. Is Devontae really a guy who can elevate into being a true number one? Well, that's on display tonight. Can Goddard be called on when he's needed? That'll be on display tonight. Can Barkley still carry the load of a team and the volume of touches that's going to be needed to win tonight? That'll be on display. Will Hurts continue to evolve? That'll be on display. Will Kellen Moore evolve with Jalen? That's on display. On the defensive side, can he stop the fucking run? Dude, I am sick and tired of having a conversation about Jordan Davis and about Jalen Carter and their inability to stop the run. Fucking stop the run. You're two guys that are over 320 pounds apiece. One's the 13th pick. The other's the 9th pick. Fucking stop the run. Have a mindset. You were murdered in the last 10 games. Those two guys have been murdered against the run. Murdered against the run. Murdered. No other way about it. You know, we had all these proclamations, including me, about Jalen Carter being the next Jerome Brown. Well, fuck, dude. Act like it. And Jordan Davis's first game of the year, in my book, you're further away from a contract extension. That guy is, that's not a 15, 20. You think that guy is close to Fletcher Cox? He's not remotely close. He's not Hollis Thomas. That guy's not Javon Hargrave. You want to be candid? He's not Javon Hargrave. Got to be better. Got to be better. You got to be tough tonight. It can't just be Josh Sweat giving effort. Can't. Bryce Huff has sucked for 2 months. Dude, you're stealing money. You suck tonight. We got problems. They need you tonight. Hey, I'll tell you this about the Jets. The Jets held on to their ass against Tennessee. Their coach hates their quarterback so bad. Called him stupid because of that mistake he made in that Jets game. Stupid. He said we should punt and the quarterback's stupid. I'm not thinking that guy's going to be in Tennessee very much longer. Hates him. Got to hand it to the Hassan Reddick here. He's 2-0. Jets need that guy. The Jets need him and the Eagles needed him. Well, we'll find out tonight. We'll find out tonight. Okay? Shit, Slay's not had to worry about anything. Good for him. His reputation and his ability has locked down one side of the defense. Cool for him. Cool for the Eagles. Your slot sucked against Green Bay. Dude, Gardner Johnson blew, and Avante was worse. Got to be better. You know, I heard Xander go like this. You know, if you watch 22, and it's true, he's not wrong. You know, he had some bad plays and some really good ones. I'm not paying you $8 million to be okay. I'm paying you to be an impact guy like you were in 22. You can't afford okay out of your premium players. Here is your premium guys. Ready? Carter Davis, Huff, Gardner Johnson, Slay. Quinion, I give a pass. It's his rookie year. By the way, I think he's your best back, and I think he's your best DB. I think he's your most talented DB. Okay? A lot on display. By the way, Vic, where are you going? Here's something, too. Vic Fangio going against Kirk Cousins. Okay. Well, we'll find out how he's going to manufacture pressure tonight. You know, let's be good about something here with Vic. As many years as he's been in the NFL as a position coach or coordinator, it's not really translated into much winning when it comes to winning championships. Let's see how that is tonight. Now, he was a consultant on that 22 team, and he was up in San Francisco for a bit. Okay? Sam goes, Sills, you know we don't have the... Yeah, wait a minute. Sam's right. Sills, give me a break. You know we don't have the defense. Yeah, but Sam, I'm not going to sit here and all of a sudden make Sam or Kirk Cousins into Tom Brady. I mean, that I'm not going to do. But the Eagle defense can turn him into Tom Brady tonight if they don't get pressure on him. Moving him around in the pocket and stopping the run is how you crush that guy. Whether it be Dalvin Cook when he was in Minneapolis or in Washington, move him, stop the run. Cousins is average, and he will throw 3 picks to you. Okay? That's why the internal pressure has to be big tonight. You got to get Davis and Carter to play their best game tonight. Got to be a guy where those two dudes, all of a sudden, it clicks, and those two guys are big. Carter's got to be a factor tonight. Davis is going to be on their better player, Linderbaum. I saw him go out last week against the Steelers, so he got banged up, and I saw Matthews. Also, here's the key matchups in this game tonight. I want to see Judon versus Mulata. Who would I take? I would take Mulata. Davis versus Lindstrom. I'll take Lindstrom. Bijan versus Nakobe. All day. Bijan. Your slot against, is it Quinion? Quinion. Maddox, Kyle Pitts. Okay. Mitchell in the slot against Kyle Pitts. I'll take Quinion in that one. I think he's get this. I didn't think his skill set level would be up to where a big-time college Power 5 kid would be. But I happen to tell you that I think him playing against in the fall camp, playing against Devontae and playing against AJ has expedited that. And it has helped him immensely. Like in the first 2 games, he's not going to see anybody like Devontae and AJ Brown on the field. There's nobody. Atlanta doesn't have that skill set. Now, that kid Olave next week against New Orleans will be kind of a test. He's a pretty good ball player. We'll talk more about New Orleans next week. But, yeah, I mean, that has expedited his growth. Okay? All I know is Hurts better not throw no damn picks, because all yesterday quarterback's been throwing interceptions. Hey, Joe, I'll tell you something too, Joe. That's a really great take. These defenses have evolved into catching up, man. I'll tell you something about that New Orleans, not to put us ahead of the sticks here a little bit. Holy shit. I mean it. I mean, even Cincinnati's defense, Mahomes had 2 picks. He had 2 picks in that ball game against Cincinnati. All over the place. And Joe Ho's right, man. I mean, everywhere. These coordinators have caught up. They surely did, man. Okay? It's a good take. Every quarterback, even Mahomes struggled. But again, he makes plays when he has to. So that's kind of my takeaway. I think, look, there's no reason. I don't think, and I know some of you guys, Sam says it here, Texans defense versus that Chicago Bear. Caleb Williams blows as of right now. And where's DeAndre Swift? 48 yards in 2 games. The fuck is this, man? That just shows you that guy in Philadelphia, just like with Miles Sanders, look at the last 2 running backs that made the Pro Bowl, that were Pro Bowl running backs for Philly. Look what they're doing now. Is Miles Sanders still in the league? DeAndre Swift's got 48 yards in 2 games. Tells you a little bit about the run coordinator named Jeff Stoutland. And that guy got $8 million. Howie, in my opinion, wins that. I looked up the numbers, and I kept saying last night, why aren't you running Swift? You paid him $8 million. Why aren't you running him? You want to throw the ball down the field? I get. And you didn't have Keenan Allen. Why didn't you run the ball? That made no sense, that game plan last night. Not that Matt Eberflus is going to have a superstar coordinator in the building in there in Chicago, because they've not been good for 30 years. It made no sense. Hit the like button, guys, please. What will Eagles do if Jalen passes for 350 yards without AJ? Say thank you? What are you looking for, Steven? I mean, you paid him $50 million. Why are you wanting to thank somebody for not robbing a bank? You paid him for that. You're paying him to win, Steven. You're paying him to be a star. Why do you want to give backslaps for something that's expected of you? What you don't want is to pay somebody like Deshaun Watson money and they don't deliver. I mean, he was better against the Jags. They got to win, but that's not $230 guaranteed million. Look, Eagle fans are like, well, Sills, what are you going to do if Hurts throws for 350 yards? Nothing? What do you want me to do? Thank him for doing his job? Jesus Christ. Act like you're a champion. Not like you're a pretender. Tom Brady was right about quarterback mediocrity with good defenses. There's no question about it. The development of the quarterbacks in today's NFL is diminished. Okay? Is diminished. Dan, I think what he's saying is that they might think they can be successful without him. I would think that. If Jalen Hurts wins the game and throws for 350 yards tonight, and I was in that locker room, and Jalen had done that, and it was business as usual, I'm going to feel awfully good and awfully calm moving forward that my quarterback doesn't have have to have all of the bells and whistles to win a game like Brock Purdy didn't have against Minnesota. I'm going to feel good about that as a coordinator as well. And I'm going to feel pretty good if I play in defense. Hey, guess what? Well, guy gets injured. Everybody gets injured in the NFL. Look at what happened to Pacheco. Pacheco's out now for about a month. You don't think that's going to be a factor in that Kansas City offense moving forward? Absolutely. What are you going to do at the running back position? Not that Brett Veach, GM, and Andy Reid won't figure it out, but all of a sudden now you've got a little dilemma and you have a little drama now in the Kansas City offense because of injury in week 2. Could that play a factor moving forward over the next month? Absolutely. He's a good football player, Pacheco. You lose that guy? Look at San Francisco, how they looked against the Vikings without McCaffrey in week 2. Hey, you can get away with losing A.J. Brown for a week. You can't get away losing A.J. Brown for 3 weeks. You can't. You are not going to get away with it for 3 weeks. A week, you're gonna. Okay? A week, you're gonna. You may even be, look at what Green Bay did. Who's the kid that went up there and filled in and won that game for the Packers against Indianapolis? Okay? You're going to get away with that. You're not going to get away with it with a month. Okay? Because they're going to put tape on the kid and they're going to know what his deficiencies, what he can and can't do. Okay? Malik Willis goes up there and wins that game. Huge. Instead of being 1-2, you're 2-1 without Jordan Love. And they're projected in the next 2-3 weeks to get him back. That might have saved their season, Green Bay. Especially if you get 2 wins out of them. Holy shit. Talk about backup quarterback. D-line needs to eat against the statue Cousins. If anything to Breed, do this. Push the pocket back. You know, if I'm, I should, okay. I have great conversations with your D-line coach every week. Every week I talk to the Eagle D-line coach. And I said to him, I go, even if they don't get there, push that pocket back. You got a guy 350 pounds, bull rush him. Push that pocket back. Make those interior lanes hard for him to see. Davis is 6'5", 6'6". Even if he gets his fucking hands up standing at the line of scrimmage, it's tough to see passing lanes going across the middle. The Eagle defense has a hole in its heart. It's in the middle. It's in the middle. Isn't it funny? The 2 areas of the football team, I'm talking Eagles, that have issues. Offense in the middle of the field, Hurts throws interceptions, and struggles in the middle. And their defense struggles in the middle of the field. 2 areas on both sides of the football. Okay? And I'm like this, get pressure, man. Even if you're not getting there. That's the one thing Pittsburgh did great. Internal pressure, and then TJ finished him off on the perimeter, getting around the horn and getting to the quarterback. TJ Watt single-handedly wrecked that football game. Single-handedly. He wrecked that football game. Wrecked it. Sills, now you're a consultant to the Eagles defense? No. The defensive line coach I recruited for the University of Miami. And I'm dear friends with him. No. And he asked me if he could wear my number 93 when he was at Miami. And we've been friends for about 20 years. That's how dickhead. Yeah. I've known him since he played at UM. And by the way, Butch Davis was on the program telling you that we're dear friends. Any other question you want? A consultant? No. I talked to Raheem too. The D-line coach, the head coach at the time, told you that I helped recruit him. And we talk. Your last D-line coach was a teammate of mine. It's gonna be interesting to watch Kellen tonight. Get this. Fat Fuck here says, Fat Mac Philly says, name dropping. No, these are just people that come on the program and we've known for years. It's what happens when you do something for 35 years. Okay, Fat Mac Philly, my bad. You'll have to, as you guys say, I'm not the greatest reader, Fat Mac Philly. I apologize. Hey, dude, you smiled. I smile. Good. Fat Mac, it's cool. Oh, man. It's all good, brother. Thank you very much for being here, Fat Mac. I love you too, dude. Look at this. Let me say this here. See this? That's a perfect gosh dang caller. Person that watches the show that I love. Right there. I don't love you, Jay Brown. You're a dick. But I do love Fat Mac Philly. I love that guy. That's cool. Xander, I missed that super chat. If you can hook me up there with it, though. I had to give him some love, man. Fat Mac, you're cool, man. Oh, man. Yeah, JP, I can't stand you, but, well, sometimes. Let's see here. Sills, Donnell says, he's just doing his job, and he wanted a cookie. But if it was Josh Allen throwing for 350, you would drool over that. The Hurts hate is real. Well, the difference between Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen doesn't lose games if he loses players. Your boy does. The truth is real. The truth is real. Davis is a rotational piece. College football has really done a number on those kids. They're not adapting to the NFL very well. I think Disciple, one of the reasons why that thing is what you're saying is true is because when you go to a program like Georgia and you're constantly rotating, you're not getting game reps to where you're going to be ready for the next level. You're not. Okay? You're not. I mean, how many plays do you think he played at Georgia, Jordan Davis? And Jalen Carter? 30? 35? At 65? When you're up 60-0, you're not keeping a kid in there like that. Okay? If you think Hurts hate is telling you that he's not a prolific passer and that he struggled to read defense, sure. Wait a minute, Donnell. I hate he can't read a defense, and I hate he's not a good passer. Yeah, fair enough. Sure. Nothing wrong. You're not lying. Dual threat. Yeah. Dual threat. Okay. You're not wrong. Okay? He's not a good passer. He's a decent. Well, he is. He's a good passer. You're right. He's a good passer. He's not elite. But he's a good passer. Yeah. Sure. That ain't good enough to win a Super Bowl. We saw what he did in 22. Yeah, I know. Too bad he can't consistently play like that. You ever notice? Hurts can't consistently play like that in the passing game. He never has. In his entire career in Philly, he's never been consistent like that in his entire career. Why? Because that's not who he is. But that's what you want him to be. Okay. Well, I don't think he can be. Game 1, C. Yeah. Even with the turnovers. Even with them. Some of you go like this. Nobody can. Well, want a quarterback to make a play in the passing game, even when he's not playing great like Mahomes. Joe Burrow was great yesterday. And it wasn't enough. You know why? You had to play perfect football against him to beat him. That's your opinion. Okay, sure. I'm not the only one that thinks that about your boy. Hurts consistently wins games more than loses them. Are you talking championship football, or are you talking about being a really good quarterback in the NFL? What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? He is. Lamar Jackson's a really good player. He wins a lot of games, wins a ton of them. Hurts will lift the Lombardi before Allen. All right. I'll take that bet. Craig Carton will join us at 5:30 Eastern. Real quick here. Let's see here. 1.5 TDs for Saquon. Over or under? Over. I think he has 2 TDs tonight. If I had to put a bet on Barkley tonight, 105, 25 carries, 2 touchdowns. You're going to need that from him. You're going to over 100 yards, 25 carries, 2 TDs, couple catches in the passing game. You're going to see the same workload. Okay, you're going to see the same workload you saw in the Green Bay game. Okay. Hurts is a better passer than Jackson. Okay. Right. Okay. Hurts was great in the Super Bowl. That's his last great game that he had complete for 4 quarters. Wasn't it? That's 2 years ago. Not to belabor the point, but I would like to do this to you here. So, Justin Jefferson over the weekend, before I get to Nick Sirianni here, this is insane. His 30th 100-yard receiving game ties Randy Moss for 5 years to start a career. In 62 ball games, he's got 6,100 yards. He averages 99 yards a game with Kirk Cousins and whomever, Sam Darnold. Can you imagine if that guy had a decent passer? He'd be fucking insane. Justin Jefferson is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Hey, in hindsight, we could sit here on September 16th and go, how he effed up. Everyone effs up. Everyone passes on people. It's not really what I'm doing here. I'm just saying, look at the fortunes of sometimes a player on how he could change. A.J. Brown would never be on this football team. He would never be on this team if they had made the right selection. Okay? Would it have made a difference? Maybe money-wise, because this is the first year he got paid $35 million, $36 million, I think. Okay, maybe some of that money would have been spread out everywhere else around on the defensive side. Because remember, like I said, I keep bringing it up, the cover for Rager is now you're going into the 3rd year. Is how much money is that? 25, 25, now 36. It's $110 million. When you could have had Jefferson on a rookie deal at $3 million for 5 years. That's the difference. That's why Kansas City has a balanced roster, because they don't spend money like that. And they're being pretty diligent on their draft picks. Okay? I mean, again, do GMs miss? Of course they miss. Okay? Of course they miss. Seals, would you rather have Jefferson or Brown? Jefferson, every day. Jefferson's a better player. Unless you think Sam Darnold and Kirk Cousins are better than Jalen Hurts. Unless you think that. Yeah, it is. It is Gronk or Grok. I'm just saying because he did something spectacular. I mean, his 30th 100 game, in 61 games, he's got 62 games, he's got 6,100 receiving yards. And he missed half the season last year. Insane how great that guy is. And by the way, what did he have? 9 games last year? He had 1,200 yards? He almost had more yards in 9 games than AJ had for the entire season. Well, I couldn't tell you who the quarterback was last year. That's how good Justin Jefferson is. The guy's a tremendous football player. All right. I got to take a timeout. Then we're going to talk. Nick Sirianni had a chance to talk, get ready for the Atlanta game. We're going to do that. And also, we're going to talk a little bit more again also about this game tonight and the key matchups that are going to be in this game tonight. No question about it here. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Where are we on the like list right now, guys? Where are we on the like list? Please hit it. Don't forget also tonight, our pre- and post-game show. Big Sales will be part of that. We hope that you'll join us and jump over with us as we get ready for the game tonight. And then after the game, we'll give you our we'll give you 163 guys. Please hit the like button. Love to see if we can get that up to 200 by the top of the hour here. Don't forget, Big Sales here with BetUS. If you're looking for a new betting house, especially for games that you saw this past weekend, games like tonight, upcoming week 3 of the National Football League, and also week 4 college football, BetUS is your place, and we're proud to be teamed up with those guys. Thank you so much with BetUS. And again, guys, your new betting home here. How about this? 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits of up to $2,000 is there for you. All you have to do is log online to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. You also get 200% in crypto bonuses for signing up. Absolutely the fastest payouts in the business. Personalized service, 365 days of the year. And if you want your very own personalized agent, they will set you up with that. 150% bonuses on your first 3 deposits. Do me a favor, make sure, and up to $2,000, I should say, make sure you log on to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.